What if your thoughts are not yours alone? What if, in the quiet spaces between words, an invisible current carries your deepest feelings, your unspoken ideas, even your silent fears, to someone else? What if telepathy is not just the stuff of science fiction, but a hidden reality woven into the fabric of human consciousness? For centuries, the idea of telepathy has captivated mystics, philosophers, and scientists alike. It's a concept that dances on the edge of our understanding, teasing us with the possibility that our minds are more connected than we realize. While mainstream science remains skeptical, dismissing telepathy as pseudoscience, esoteric traditions and spiritual teachings have long held that it is not only real but a fundamental aspect of human existence. One of the most profound explorations of telepathy comes from Alice A. Bailey, a theosophical writer and spiritual teacher whose work has inspired countless seekers of truth. In her groundbreaking book, Telepathy and the Etheric Vehicle, Bailey presents telepathy not as a supernatural phenomenon, but as a natural process governed by universal laws. She believed that our thoughts are not confined to the brain but are transmitted through an intricate energy system she called the etheric vehicle. Today, we're diving deep into Bailey's insights to uncover the hidden mechanics behind telepathic communication. We'll explore the science of telepathy, the role of the etheric web in connecting minds, and the practical implications of understanding this mysterious phenomenon. By the end of this journey, you'll see telepathy not as a fantasy, but as a real and potentially transformative aspect of human consciousness. Let's start with the big question: is telepathy real? To answer this, we need to challenge the conventional view that the mind is entirely contained within the brain. Modern neuroscience has made incredible strides in understanding how the brain processes thoughts, emotions, and memories. But what if the brain is just the physical instrument of the mind and not its sole boundary? Alice A. Bailey proposed that thoughts are not static entities trapped within our skulls. Instead, they are dynamic energies that can extend beyond the physical body. According to her, telepathy is the natural result of these energies interacting with the subtle energy fields that surround and connect all living beings. This idea isn't entirely foreign to science. Quantum physics, for instance, has revealed that particles can be entangled, meaning that the state of one particle can instantly influence another, no matter the distance between them. Some scientists have speculated that a similar principle might apply to consciousness. Could our thoughts be entangled in a vast, invisible network, allowing them to travel beyond the confines of our brains? While this remains speculative, there are intriguing studies that hint at the possibility of telepathy. For example, experiments in remote viewing and telepathic communication have yielded results that defy conventional explanations. In one famous study, researchers found that pairs of participants who shared close emotional bonds were able to transmit simple images or sensations to each other with surprising accuracy, even when separated by great distances. These findings suggest that telepathy might not be as far-fetched as it seems. But how does it work? To understand this, we need to explore the concept of the etheric vehicle. At the heart of Bailey's theory is the idea of the etheric vehicle, a subtle energy body that interpenetrates and surrounds the physical body. This energy body is composed of a network of channels and centers, often referred to as chakras in Eastern traditions, that facilitate the flow of life force, or prana. According to Bailey, the etheric vehicle is not just a passive energy field. It's an active transmitter and receiver of thoughts and emotions. When you think, your brain generates electrical impulses, but these impulses are also translated into subtle energies that travel through the etheric vehicle. These energies can then be picked up by another person's etheric vehicle, creating a telepathic connection. Think of it like this: if the physical body is a radio, the etheric vehicle is the antenna. It tunes into the frequencies of thought and emotion, allowing them to be broadcast and received. This process happens unconsciously most of the time, which is why we're not constantly aware of it. But under certain conditions, such as deep meditation, emotional intensity, or a strong bond between individuals, the telepathic signal becomes stronger and more perceptible. Bailey also introduced the concept of the etheric web, a vast, interconnected network of etheric energies that links all living beings. This web acts as a kind of cosmic internet, enabling the exchange of information between minds. Just as the internet allows us to share data across the globe, the etheric web allows us to share thoughts and emotions across the subtle realms of consciousness. The etheric web is not just a theoretical construct. It's a practical framework for understanding how telepathy works. Imagine this web as a tapestry of light, with each thread representing the etheric energy of an individual. When two threads intersect or resonate at the same frequency, a telepathic connection is formed. This resonance is key to telepathy. Just as two tuning forks vibrating at the same frequency will produce the same sound, two minds vibrating at the same frequency can share thoughts and emotions. This explains why telepathy is often reported between people who share close relationships, such as twins, lovers, or close friends. Their etheric energies are already aligned, making it easier for them to connect on a deeper level. But the etheric web isn't limited to personal connections. Bailey believed that it extends to the collective consciousness of humanity, creating a shared pool of thoughts, ideas, and emotions. This is why certain ideas seem to go viral, spreading rapidly across the globe even without direct communication. It's also why we sometimes feel a collective shift in mood or awareness during major world events. Understanding telepathy isn't just an intellectual exercise. It has profound implications for how we live and interact with each other. If thoughts and emotions can travel beyond the brain, then we need to be more mindful of what we're broadcasting into the etheric web. Negative thoughts, for example, can create ripples of discord, while positive thoughts can contribute to a more harmonious collective consciousness. Telepathy also offers a new way to think about human connection. In a world where technology often isolates us, the idea that we're fundamentally connected on a deeper level is both comforting and empowering. It reminds us that we're not alone, that our thoughts and feelings matter, and that we have the potential to influence the world in ways we're only beginning to understand. Moreover, telepathy hints at the future of consciousness research. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the mind, we may discover new ways to harness and develop our telepathic abilities. Imagine a world where we can communicate without words, where empathy and understanding are the norm rather than the exception. This is the promise of telepathy, a future where the boundaries between minds dissolve, and we truly become one. Telepathy is more than just a fascinating idea. It's a gateway to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe. By exploring the insights of Alice A. Bailey and the concept of the etheric vehicle, we've uncovered a new way to think about the mind, consciousness, and human connection. While mainstream science may still be catching up, the evidence, both anecdotal and experimental, suggests that telepathy is a real phenomenon. It's not magic, it's a natural process governed by the laws of energy and resonance. And as we continue to explore this hidden language of the mind, we may find that telepathy is not just a possibility, but a fundamental aspect of what it means to be human. So the next time you feel a sudden connection with someone, or sense their thoughts before they speak, remember, you're not imagining it. You're tapping into the etheric web, the invisible network that binds us all. And in that moment, you're experiencing the true power of telepathy, the power to transcend the limits of the physical world and touch the infinite. Goosebumps, once again, remind you, the mind is far more mysterious and far more connected than we ever dared to imagine. Function of the human energy system. So what exactly is telepathy according to Alice Bailey? She describes it as the ability to transmit and receive thought impressions beyond the limitations of speech or physical interaction. Telepathy, she explains, is not an extraordinary gift for the few, but a latent ability within all humans waiting to be developed. At the core of telepathic exchange is something called the etheric vehicle, an invisible energy structure that connects our physical bodies with higher planes of existence. This etheric body serves as both a transmitter and a receiver, channeling thoughts, emotions, and spiritual insights across distances. Understanding this concept is key. In the same way that radio waves carry signals through space, the etheric vehicle carries telepathic impressions, bridging the gap between minds. Bailey believed that as human evolution progresses, text telepathy will become a primary mode of communication, one that transcends language and distance. In the next section, we'll take a closer look at how this fascinating system actually works. Telepathy is not a single phenomenon, but manifests in three distinct forms, each representing a different level of human consciousness and energetic refinement. Alice Bailey categorized these into instinctual telepathy, mental telepathy, and intuitional telepathy. The first and most basic form is instinctual telepathy. This occurs at an emotional and unconscious level. It is deeply rooted in the survival instincts of humans and animals. Imagine a mother who intuitively senses her child's distress even when miles apart. Or consider the way animals appear to communicate without words, responding to each other's emotions and intentions. This form of telepathy is primarily solar plexus-based, meaning it operates through emotional resonance rather than structured thought. It is the most primitive, yet also the most widespread form of thought transfer. As we evolve intellectually and spiritually, we develop mental telepathy, a more refined mind-to-mind communication that requires conscious awareness. This type of telepathy operates through the ajna center or the third eye and engages the higher mind. Unlike instinctual telepathy, which is rooted in emotion, mental telepathy relies on clear, structured thought forms. This is the kind of telepathic ability often attributed to deep meditation, focused intention, or spiritual training. Certain individuals, such as highly developed thinkers, monks, or esoteric practitioners, train themselves to receive and transmit mental impressions with great accuracy. This ability allows ideas, not just emotions, to be transferred between minds, often across great distances. Finally, at the highest level, we encounter intuitional telepathy. This is the purest form of telepathic transmission, one that bypasses both emotions and structured thoughts, reaching into the realm of direct knowing. Instead of interpreting a thought or feeling, the receiver simply knows the truth being transmitted, as if the knowledge arises spontaneously within them. Alice Bailey describes this as the form of telepathy used by spiritual teachers, enlightened beings, and those who receive wisdom from higher planes of consciousness. This kind of transmission occurs through the crown chakra, where the individual connects to universal intelligence. When mystics, saints, and advanced spiritual seekers speak of receiving divine inspiration, guidance, or revelation, they are often engaging in intuitional telepathy. This is not limited to esoteric circles. Many scientific breakthroughs, artistic inspirations, and philosophical insights arise through this kind of higher knowing, where an individual suddenly grasps an entire concept without prior study or logical reasoning. The transition from instinctual to mental to intuitional telepathy reflects the evolution consciousness itself. As humanity progresses, this shift is becoming more noticeable, with intuitive and mental telepathic abilities emerging in more individuals across the world. But how exactly does telepathy function? How do thoughts, which seem to exist within our own minds, travel from one person to another? Alice Bailey explains that thoughts are not confined to the brain. They are energy waves, vibrational patterns that radiate outward, much like sound waves traveling through the air or radio waves carrying a signal. Thoughts are subtle, energetic impulses that extend beyond the physical form. The medium for this transmission is what Bailey calls the etheric web. This invisible, energetic structure surrounds and permeates the physical body, acting as a bridge between the physical mind and the subtle planes of thought. Think of it like an antenna, receiving and transmitting thoughts based on vibrational frequency. When we generate a thought, especially one charged with emotion or intent, it imprints itself upon the etheric web. From there, it travels outward, seeking a resonant mind, a receiver attuned to the same vibrational frequency. This explains why people who share strong emotional or mental bonds, such as twins, lifelong friends, or spiritual groups often experience telepathic connections. More frequently, their energy fields are naturally aligned, allowing thoughts to transfer more easily. The etheric web also acts as a filter, ensuring that telepathic impressions are only received when the receiver is attuned to the right vibrational frequency. Just as a radio must be tuned to the correct station to pick up a signal, our etheric body must be receptive and clear for telepathic messages to be accurately received. Now let's explore the biological and spiritual centers that play a key role in telepathic transmission. The pineal gland and the ajna center, or third eye. Ancient traditions across cultures have long regarded the third eye as the gateway to higher consciousness. In Hinduism and Buddhism, it is associated with the ajna chakra, the seat of intuition and mental clarity. In Western esoteric traditions, it is linked to the pineal gland, a small, pea-sized gland located deep within the brain near the center of the forehead. The pineal gland has long been a subject of mystery. Modern neuroscience recognizes it as the regulator of circadian rhythms, secreting melatonin to influence sleep cycles. However, spiritual traditions describe it as a transmitter and receiver of higher frequencies, enabling access to subtle realms of thought and consciousness. Alice Bailey suggests that the ajna center serves as the focal point for mental telepathy, acting like a lens that refines and directs thought energy. When developed through meditation and conscious training, this center enables individuals to receive and send telepathic impressions with greater clarity. Scientific research, though still in its early stages, has begun to explore the electromagnetic properties of the brain and the role of the pineal gland in altered states of consciousness. Some researchers propose that quantum entanglement, the phenomenon where particles become instantaneously connected across vast distances, may offer a clue to how telepathic transmission occurs. If consciousness itself is a field of energy beyond the brain, then thought transfer may be a natural extension of this field. Interestingly, certain states of heightened awareness, such as deep meditation, lucid dreaming, or near-death experiences, are often associated with increased activity in the pineal gland. This aligns with Bailey's teachings that a purified, activated ajna center allows for clearer, higher-frequency telepathic exchanges. As we move forward, the interplay between science, spirituality, and consciousness studies may offer deeper insights into the mechanisms of telepathy. Alice Bailey's teachings suggest that as humanity evolves, the barriers between minds will gradually dissolve, leading to a future where mental and intuitional telepathy become common methods of communication. In the next section, we'll explore the etheric vehicle in greater detail, examining how it functions as a conduit for telepathic energy. In order to understand telepathy, we must first examine the etheric vehicle, the subtle energy body that acts as a bridge between the physical and astral planes. Alice Bailey describes the etheric vehicle as a network of energy channels, or nadis, that interpenetrate and surround the physical body. It is composed of pranic energy, also known as life force or chi, and serves as a transmitter for consciousness, thoughts, and emotions. While the physical body exists in the material world, the etheric vehicle operates on a more refined vibrational level, linking our conscious awareness to the higher dimensions of existence. Think of it as the wireless signal that connects a device to the internet. Invisible, but absolutely essential. Without the etheric body, we would be cut off from subtle energies, intuitive insights, and telepathic impressions. Bailey teaches that the etheric vehicle plays a dual role in telepathic communication. It receives thought impulses from others, filtering them through the chakras and nervous system. It transmits mental and emotional energy outward, sending thought waves to those attuned to receive them. This means that every telepathic exchange relies on the condition of the etheric body. A strong, well-simulated etheric field allows for clear, accurate transmission, while a weak or blocked etheric vehicle can distort messages or make telepathic reception impossible. This leads us to an important how. Exactly do we receive and transmit telepathic impressions? The answer lies in the chakras, the energy centers that regulate the flow of subtle energy through the etheric body. According to Alice Bailey, certain chakras play a key role in telepathic communication, acting as receivers and broadcasters of thought energy. While all chakras contribute to the overall energy system, Three in particular essential for telepathic functioning. Ajna chakra, brow center, the center of mental telepathy. Heart chakra, the center of empathetic and group telepathy. Solar plexus chakra, the center of instinctual and emotional telepathy. Let's break each of these down. The Ajna chakra, the seat of mental telepathy. Located in the center of the forehead, the Ajna chakra, or third eye, is the primary center for higher telepathic communication. It governs clairvoyance, intuitive perception, and the ability to send and receive clear mental impressions. When developed, the Ajna chakra acts as a spiritual transmitter, allowing one to receive thoughts directly from another mind, bypassing words and physical senses. This is the form of telepathy used by highly trained spiritual practitioners, meditators, and advanced thinkers. However, for this chakra to function properly, the individual must cultivate mental discipline, inner stillness, and focused intent. If the mind is scattered, filled with doubt, or distracted by lower emotions, telepathic reception becomes distorted, much like a radio station experiencing static. The heart chakra, the center of empathic telepathy. The heart chakra, located in center of the chest, governs compassion, love, and emotional resonance. It plays a crucial role in empathetic telepathy, allowing individuals to feel and experience the emotions of others as if they were their own. This type of telepathy often manifests between close family members, romantic partners, and deep friendships, where emotional bonds create an open telepathic channel. A fully activated heart chakra enhances group consciousness, making it easier to harmonize thoughts and feelings with others. This is why spiritual groups, meditation circles, and collective prayer practices often generate a shared telepathic field. The solar plexus chakra. Instinctual telepathy. The solar plexus chakra, located just above the navel, is responsible for gut feelings, instinctual knowing, and subconscious telepathic exchanges. This chakra governs the lower emotion-driven telepathic experiences that occur without conscious awareness. It explains why a person might suddenly feel uneasy before receiving bad news, or why a mother instinctively senses when her child is in distress. While this form of telepathy is not as refined as Ajna-based mental telepathy, it is often the first stage of telepathic development. Over time, as a person refines their awareness, these subconscious impressions can be consciously interpreted and understood. Together, these three chakras form the primary telepathic circuit, allowing thoughts and emotions to travel across energetic distances. However, the quality of these transmissions depends entirely on the state of the etheric vehicle itself, which is why purification and energetic refinement are essential. For telepathic communication to be clear, precise, and accurate, the etheric vehicle must be pure and balanced. Alice Bailey emphasizes that distorted, unclear telepathic impressions often arise from blockages, impurities, or imbalances within the energy field. Imagine trying to listen to a conversation through a static-filled radio channel. Words might come through, but they will be incomplete or misinterpreted. The same applies to telepathy. If the etheric vehicle is cluttered with emotional debris, mental distractions, or energetic disturbances, telepathic signals become distorted. So how do we purify and strengthen the etheric body? Meditation and mental discipline. Regular meditation helps clear mental noise and allows for better attunement to telepathic frequencies. Focusing on the Ajna chakra can enhance higher telepathic reception. Uncontrolled emotions such as fear, anger, and anxiety create etheric static that blocks clear transmission. Developing emotional stability and heart-centered awareness improves empathetic telepathy. Physical and energetic hygiene. Eating pure high vibrational foods, engaging in breathwork, and practicing yoga or qigong help cleanse the etheric body. Avoiding substances that cloud consciousness such as excessive alcohol or drugs keeps the etheric channels clear. Service and higher purpose. Telepathy is most effective when aligned with higher spiritual intention. Acts of compassion and selfless service refine the etheric field and strengthen connections to higher consciousness. Bailey teaches that as we purify and develop our etheric vehicle, we become more receptive to telepathic communication and in time can participate in the greater telepathic network of human and spiritual consciousness. As human evolution progresses, telepathy will move from a rare phenomenon to a universal faculty, reshaping the way we connect, learn, and experience reality. Developing telepathic ability is not reserved for a select few. It is a skill that can be cultivated through conscious effort, discipline, and practice. Alice Bailey emphasizes that telepathic communication is most effective when the mind is still, the energy body is aligned, and the practitioner engages in purposeful group work. The first and most fundamental step is meditation, which trains the mind to be silent and receptive. Most people experience constant mental chatter, which drowns out the subtle signals of telepathic communication. To develop telepathic sensitivity, one can practice focused awareness by sitting in a quiet space, closing the eyes and directing attention to the Ajna chakra, also known as the third eye, located at the center of the forehead. By taking slow, deep breaths and releasing stray thoughts, the mind becomes a still surface, much like a calm pond, reflecting images with clarity. When the mental state is peaceful and focused, it becomes easier to perceive external thought impressions without distortion. Energy alignment is another crucial aspect of telepathic development. Since telepathic exchanges occur through the etheric vehicle, keeping this energy system clear and balanced is essential. Techniques such as deep breathing, pranayama, chakra visualization, and grounding exercises help refine the etheric field, making it more receptive to subtle frequencies. An advanced practice involves visualizing a golden thread of light extending from the third eye to a chosen recipient, forming a clear channel for thought transmission. Beyond meditation and energy alignment, working with a partner or a group accelerates telepathic growth. One of the simplest yet most effective exercises involves two individuals, a sender and a receiver. The sender focuses intently on a simple thought, such as an image, color, or word, while the receiver relaxes their mind. Repeated practice strengthens the mental link, allowing for more refined transmissions. Such exercises prove that telepathy is not a vague or uncontrollable phenomenon, but rather a structured skill that can be developed through methodical training. However, with this growing ability comes an ethical responsibility. Just as verbal communication requires respect and honesty, telepathic interaction must be approached with integrity. Alice Bailey warns against the misuse of telepathic influence, particularly in ways that manipulate, invade privacy, or override free will. Telepathic exchanges should always be consensual, and one should never attempt to impose thoughts upon another. Just as physical boundaries must be honored, so too must mental and energetic boundaries. Another crucial ethical consideration is the tendency for emotions to influence telepathic messages. Thoughts sent with strong emotional charge, such as anger, fear, or attachment, can become distorted, leading to unintended or even harmful effects. This is why self-purification and emotional mastery are essential prerequisites for telepathic communication. A good guideline is to never send a thought telepathically that one would not feel comfortable expressing aloud. The highest purpose of telepathy is not merely personal communication, but rather the advancement of collective human consciousness. In Bailey's teachings, group telepathy serves as a bridge toward higher unity, where people can share insights and wisdom beyond words, fostering deeper understanding and cooperation. If developed ethically and responsibly, telepathy could one day become a universal mode of communication, enhancing human relationships and reducing the barriers of misunderstanding. However, for this to be realized, it must be cultivated with spiritual awareness and integrity. Interestingly, modern science is beginning to explore theories that parallel Bailey's esoteric teachings. One of the most compelling areas of research is quantum entanglement, a phenomenon in which two particles that were once connected remain linked even when separated by vast distances. When one particle changes its state, the other instantly mirrors the change, regardless of the physical space between them. Some scientists speculate that human consciousness might operate on a similar principle, meaning that two minds, once energetically linked, could exchange information outside of conventional time and space. This could explain why close family members, twins, or deeply connected individuals often sense each other's thoughts and emotions, even when physically apart. Another scientific perspective on telepathy comes from the study of non-local consciousness, a concept suggesting that the mind is not confined to the brain, but rather functions as part of a larger field of awareness. If consciousness is indeed non-local, then thoughts could theoretically be transmitted across this field without the need for physical proximity. While mainstream science has yet to fully accept telepathy as a measurable phenomenon, research in these areas continues to challenge the limitations of materialist thinking, opening new possibilities for understanding the power of the mind. The mind is far more powerful than we have been led to believe. And perhaps, the greatest untapped ability of all is the one that connects us without words, through thought itself. Think about it. Have you ever had a moment where you were thinking about someone, and out of nowhere, they called or texted you? Or maybe you've sat in silence with a close friend or loved one, and somehow, without speaking, you both just knew what the other was thinking? These are the moments that make us question, is telepathy real? And if so, could it be more than just a fleeting coincidence? Science is catching up to what ancient civilizations and spiritual traditions have long suggested, that the human mind is capable of much more than we currently understand. The idea that thoughts are not just locked within our skulls but could be transmitted and received like signals is no longer just a subject of fantasy or pseudoscience. But before we go any further, let's be clear, telepathy isn't about magical powers or supernatural gifts. It may very well be a natural faculty of consciousness that has been dormant within us, waiting to be rediscovered. The real question is, how do we unlock it? Telepathy, derived from the Greek words tele, distant, and patheia, feeling or perception, refers to the direct transmission of thoughts, emotions, or mental images from one mind to another, without spoken words or physical interaction. In ancient times, many cultures believed in the power of mind-to-mind communication. Indigenous shamans, yogis, and mystics have described telepathic experiences for thousands of years. In Indian yogic traditions, the concept of manas, the mind, and chit, consciousness, has long been studied as a means to transcend verbal communication and connect on a deeper level. Tibetan monks, Native American tribes, and even ancient Egyptian spiritual texts speak of telepathic abilities as a natural part of human evolution. Fast forward to modern science, and we now see something fascinating. Early research into quantum entanglement, brain-wave synchronization, and non-local consciousness suggests that the mind may not be as isolated as we once believed. While mainstream science has often dismissed telepathy due to a lack of reproducible results under controlled experiments, there are still compelling studies that hint at its possibility. One of the most famous studies was conducted by Dr. J.B. Ryan at Duke University in the 1930s, where participants attempted to send and receive images through thought alone. While results were mixed, there were cases where statistical probability suggested something beyond mere chance was at play. More recently, neuroscientists have begun exploring brain-to-brain communication through technology. In 2014, researchers successfully transmitted words from one person's brain to another using EEG, electroencephalography, and transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS. Though this required external devices, it raises an intriguing question. If machines can enable brain-to-brain communication, could our minds do it naturally? Some scientists speculate that consciousness itself may have quantum properties, meaning our thoughts could behave more like entangled particles, connected beyond space and time. If this is true, then telepathy might not be as far-fetched as once believed. If telepathy is a natural faculty, why don't we all experience it consciously? The answer might lie in three key factors. Our minds are constantly bombarded with thoughts, emotions, and external distractions. Just like tuning into a radio frequency, telepathic communication may require a still and focused mind. 2. Skepticism and cultural conditioning. society has conditioned us to dismiss telepathy as a fantasy. What if our disbelief is the very thing blocking us from experiencing it? 3. Lack of practice. Any skill, whether playing an instrument or learning a language, requires training. Telepathy may be no different. So, how can we begin developing this ability? Many spiritual traditions point toward meditation, mindfulness, and energy work as the foundation for unlocking deeper mental awareness. Practices like silent meditation to quiet the internal chatter, visualization exercises to strengthen the mind's ability to project thoughts clearly, heart-centered communication to enhance emotional resonance between individuals, dream experiments to explore subconscious telepathic connections. If history has shown us anything, it's that the impossible often becomes possible with time. Imagine a world where telepathic communication is not just a rare phenomenon but an everyday skill. What if we could connect with our loved ones instantly, no matter the distance? What if misunderstandings due to language barriers disappeared? What if creativity, intuition, and emotional intelligence skyrocketed because we could directly sense each other's thoughts and feelings? Some futurists believe that as human consciousness evolves, telepathic abilities will become more common. This doesn't mean words and spoken language will become obsolete, but rather that we may develop a more profound, direct form of understanding, one that transcends words. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the mind, we stand on the edge of a potential paradigm shift, a time when ancient wisdom and modern science converge, revealing that telepathy is not a myth, but a reality waiting to be unlocked. Have you ever experienced telepathy? Have you ever felt someone's thoughts or known what they were about to say before they spoke? Maybe you've had a dream where you communicated with someone, only to find out later that they had a similar experience? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. If you enjoyed this video and want to dive deeper into topics of esoteric wisdom, consciousness, and the hidden potential of the human mind, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching, and remember, the mind is limitless, and the future is waiting for those who dare to explore it.